Hello, everyone. This is Poonam Sagar at IndoIndians.com. And this is yet another very, very interesting information session today. We have with us our expert, Naman Jain. And just to give you a very, very brief introduction. So today is all about ChatGPT for a smarter lifestyle. We live in a world where AI is no longer science fiction. It's shaping how we work, learn, and even how we plan our holidays, write grocery lists. But here's the truth: tools like ChatGPT are only as powerful as how we use them. Think of ChatGPT as your personal assistant, brainstorming buddy, and productivity coach rolled into one. But really, to unlock its potential, we need to learn how to do it properly. And this is where Naman comes in. Naman is an AI strategist, entrepreneur, and founder of Poseidon Academy right here in Jakarta. Naman brings a rare mix of deep technical expertise and a passion for making AI simple and practical for everyone. He's worked with leading organizations like BBC, Benevolent AI, and through Poseidon Academy, he's helping businesses and individuals harness AI to future proof their lives and work. So, whether you are a student, a professional, a parent, or just curious about this AI wave, you are in the right place. By the end of this hour, you will see how ChatGPT can become your new AI sidekick. So, we'd like to welcome Naman. Hi, Naman. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Poonamji, how are you?
Very
Good.
well. Thank you so much. And we would like to now, ask you to tell us what is this whole trend about ChatGPT is about, and how can we use it to the maximum of its capability, sitting here. And so over to you.
Yeah, so I'm sure most of you have heard what ChatGPT is. Uh, it's become very popular over the last few years. And I mean, I'm sure most of you have tried ChatGPT before. So I think, and I'm sure most of you know what it's used for, what it can be used for. And yeah, I mean, again, it's good if people can put in the chat if they've used it, if they've used ChatGPT before, or they haven't used ChatGPT before, they can type that in the chat box so I can get an idea of the audience,
Yeah,
right?
and in addition to that, as you mentioned earlier, Naman, maybe everyone can also log in on their computers to chatgpt.com.
So I think because this is going to be an interactive session, it's not going to be a monologue from me. So it's going to, yeah. So if everyone can log into chatgpt.com, I'll put the link on the chat box so you can just click it and um, yeah, click it and log in. You can still use it without logging in, but it's always good to log in and use it. Yeah,
So when you go online and you say ChatGPT, you will see a whole lot of options for you to use. But the best one is chatgpt.com. And I can see on the audience list, we have some regular users, like we have Shireen, who is a regular user of various AI tools for education. So we will ask for her input also after Naman, while Naman is doing his talk. So Naman, you said you have a slide you wanted to show.
yeah, so I guess I'll start sharing my screen. Or Poonamji, okay, I think I have to do that. So let me just share my screen. Yeah. All right. Can everyone see my screen or 1 second?
So there
Yeah.
is no presentation as such, Nikhil. It's just one slide to set the agenda. So what are we going to do today? So that is basically the
Yeah.
slide all about.
So can you see my screen, guys? What do you see?
We
Do
can
you,
see section 1, section 2, section 3, and section 4.
yeah, and you see the ChatGPT tabs as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Um, so I guess we'll wait for
You can just start, Naman.
yeah, okay. So I'm assuming everyone is on the chatgpt.com. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to have we're going to discuss multiple things and how we can use ChatGPT. So this is the plan for today, right? So let me just see someone type something in the chat. Okay, yeah, so this is the plan. So we'll be going through these sections, and then I'll be giving you some tasks to do as well on ChatGPT. So it's more interactive, right? As Benjamin Franklin said, you learn by doing, right? So I just don't want to be giving a speech here. Okay, so yeah, okay, so I think the first thing we'll discuss about is how ChatGPT can be used for trip planning, right? So can everyone see my screen here right now?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm sure people have planned their trips and get an itinerary and from agents or online. But one use case of ChatGPT is you can just go to ChatGPT and you can let's say you want to go to Bali, right? So I want to go to Bali, right? And so I can say, can you give me an itinerary for Bali? I will land in Bali in the morning of. Yeah, if someone has issues with this seeing the screen, let us know, yeah?
It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, 21st July 2025, and we'll depart back on the 25th of July, right? So you just type that in and it's going to give you an itinerary, right? So, and then you can check what you want to do. You want to make some edits in the itinerary or not. So it quickly, as you can see, it quickly gives you an itinerary of what, how you can spend your time in Bali. So as you can see here, yeah, so it gives you day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and it gives you an hourly sort of the timestamps as well as what you can do on those days and times, right? So yeah, so if you don't like something, for example, you really want to go to Waterboom, right? For example, I want to visit Waterboom, Bali. I've heard it's good. Can you squeeze that in somewhere? Right? So
Can I ask everyone if they want the captions or shall I disable them?
okay, okay. So yeah, so we want to make this interactive. So people in the audience, you can just type this in your chat box, in your chatgpt.com. Just type it in, or you can just copy and paste this prompt that I just wrote, right? So I'll put this prompt on the chat box.
So, Naman, this gives us to a very interesting part of our session.
Yeah.
If you can explain to everyone and to me, what is a prompt?
Yeah, so a prompt is just, as you can see, the one I pasted on the chat is basically the instructions that you want to give to the AI, right? In this case. So it's basically an instruction that you want to give to the AI. Yeah.
So, does it matter what kind of a prompt you give to AI, to ChatGPT?
Yeah, it definitely does matter. I mean, whatever you say, for example, in this case, I want it to give me an itinerary for Bali. So yes, it's going to generate that for me. It can also behave as we can also do role plays with it, right? So we can tell the AI, please behave as a customer service agent, or please behave as a, uh, please behave as a hotel receptionist, and we can have a conversation in that way as well. So yes,
So, how
whatever.
can I make this prompt, the one that you have put in the chat message, how can I make it optimal? How can I make it, give me everything in one go instead of me typing in again and again?
Yeah, so this is obviously pros and cons. So obviously you want, the more detail you put it, the more detailed your prompt is, the better, right? Because the AI, for example, the AI doesn't know if you're vegetarian or not vegetarian, right? So in the itinerary, it says, you can go to this restaurant or you can go to that restaurant, right? So for example, you can put in the chat also, I'm vegetarian, right? So please don't suggest restaurants which have a lot of non-veg, right? Food, right? For example, right? So it's going to go back and then it's going to remake the itinerary and try to suggest restaurants that it thinks that it has a lot of vegetarian options, right? So obviously, the more detailed, the better, right? But as you can see, it's a chat, so anything that you don't like, you can always modify it.
So I'm going to stop you for a moment and I'm going to ask all the people on this call to put in a question of what they understood and if there's something that they'd like to understand more about prompts and how to use it for trip planning. So everybody, I invite you to put a question there, something that you might be thinking on how can I do this? Or is this something that I really want to go ahead with? Or is this something more that I want to learn about this?
Yeah, so yeah, okay.
Because what I understand is the better your question, the better is the answer from ChatGPT. Okay. So when you started this prompt, Naman, I noticed that when the ChatGPT was going to generate the response, it already had some information about you. It already had information that, outdoorsy person, active, vegetarian. It already had that information and it generated the information accordingly. So are you saying that ChatGPT also saves information about you?
Yeah, so for example, I've done many chats with ChatGPT before. So in those previous chats, it sometimes saves information about you, right? So for example, if you're vegetarian or non-vegetarian, or you are maybe your background, where do you work, what is your profession? So it saves it in its background and uses that information whenever it wants to, right? But if you want to have a completely anonymous chat with ChatGPT, you can go to the settings and you can just disable the option to not save any.
Can you show us the option?
Yeah, so you can go here. Let me just it's something called memory. Um, 1 second. This is blocking. I don't think I can click it because there's an annotate button there. There's a zoom overlay on it. I can't click it.
I see. Okay.
But I can, we can follow that up later on the.
There's a question by Kavita Bhojwani. She's saying, hi, do we have to first log in? I'm not able to comprehend.
Yes, it's not, you don't have to log in, but you can uh, just go to chatgpt.com and you can start using it directly. You don't have to log in, but it's always good to log in.
Yes. So Kavita, when you go to ChatGPT on your browser, it says login or use without login in. And then you can choose without login. Okay. Can we move on to the...
Yeah, so I think because we have multiple okay, so we have another question here. How can we cater the trip according to our needs and the timings? Yeah, so you can just specify, right, Nikhil? You can just say, for example, you have specific dinner timings, right? So this is the latest itinerary it has generated, right? So where is the latest? So I can just say, I usually have dinner at 7 p.m. Can you remake the itinerary based on that, right? Based on based on this, right? So it's going to rethink and remake the itinerary, right? So it should suggest, right, going to a restaurant at 7 p.m. So
So you
H&B.
just have to scroll on the arrow button.
Yeah. So let me move this chat around here. Yeah, so as you can see, it's updated it. And as you can see, it's 7 p.m. It's saying dinner at this restaurant, right? Dinner at Zest Ubud. And day 2 also, it's saying dinner at Sayuri Healing Food, right? 7 p.m. at KNYD, right? So whatever, it's just like a human. So, it's just like talking to a real travel agent. You just tell a travel agent whatever you want, and then it's going to give it to you, right? So it's just like a human, just like a real travel agent.
Correct.
Okay.
Excellent.
So,
I
yeah.
think this is very, very useful for everyone when you are traveling. You can also use it for a lot of other things on suggesting hotels, on suggesting what are the activities you can do based on the age groups of the people traveling together. So it is something really useful for each of us to try.
Yeah. So I think because it's already 15 minutes. I think
Yeah,
if
let's
you
go to the next use
yeah,
case.
so I think so this is the first section, right, guys? The um One second. Yeah, so the first section we just finished that, which is trip planning. I think the next use case we'll discuss about is the health and fitness, right? Because I think that's one of the biggest use cases, I believe, for ChatGPT, right? So let's dive into that. One use case you can use ChatGPT for in the health and fitness space is, for example, you have a medical report from the doctor, right? So you do a medical blood test, you do a blood test, and then you get the report. And then what you can do is you can just upload that report.
So, Naman, can you show them from where to upload the report?
Yeah, so Indonesia has many blood test centers, right? So you get a PDF report from your doctor or from, for example, Prodia. They have online reports, right? So yeah, or you could take a picture of your report and you can upload it on ChatGPT, right? So guys, for example, I'm uploading my report here, and I can ask it, can you see any problems with my medical report, for example, right? Um, um, yeah. Okay, so you're just going to do that, and it's going to read the document, right? And then it's just going to show, whatever, any red flags or whatever, right? So yeah, to upload your medical report, Deepika, is just to drag and drop. You can just drag and drop it. I'm not sure if you're joining Zoom from your phone or from your laptop, but you can do it either way. You can just
There's
select.
a plus sign which says when you click on it, it says upload document, and you can upload document there.
Yeah, so I mean, this is obviously this is a dummy report, but you can see you can identify all the problems that there are in the report. Obviously, you can manually read the report yourself, and you can identify, what's wrong in the report. But this is a faster way, right, to see what's wrong with the report. And maybe you don't even need to go to the doctor to see I mean, obviously, I recommend going to the doctor to discuss the results. But if you want a preliminary report, or a sort of, you want a quick understanding of what's in your report, you can just upload, and you see what it gives you, right? So
And
uh,
to add to what Naman is saying, in Indonesia, sometimes you get your reports in Bahasa Indonesia. Even if you were to upload your documents in Bahasa Indonesia and say, please, can you explain in English? It will also give you in English.
yeah, so yeah, guys. So I think the best. So I want this. Obviously, we want this session to be interactive, right? So if you're on your laptop, or if you have any, you can upload your test report onto ChatGPT and just ask it, just a simple prompt. Can you see any problems with medical report, right?
So there's a question from Delhi Sena. Who can access these details like reports on internet except me? So is this public or is it secure?
I mean, this is secure. If you upload your report onto ChatGPT, no one can see it, right? So there's an additional option. If you go to the settings of ChatGPT, there's an option for that prevents ChatGPT from seeing your report from the team of ChatGPT, right? So if you can disable that in the settings. There's an option. Unfortunately, I can't. I'm not sure how do the Zoom overlay is blocking it. Not sure how can I click on the settings here, but yeah, only you can. No one has access to these details if you upload.
Maybe you can ask ChatGPT how we can disable those.
Yeah, I mean, I could. Good question. I can ask it. Do you train on the data I give? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It's probably not self-aware, but yeah. So okay. Yeah, so it doesn't give you any. It doesn't forward your data to anyone else. Of course, it's safe, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, guys. So I think there's a lot of other people that have joined. So, I think if everyone can use, if everyone can go to their ChatGPT account or just go to chatgpt.com.
So I'd like to ask a question of all the people on the session if they've ever used ChatGPT with their medical reports. Have you used ChatGPT to decipher your medical reports? Just say yes or no. That's it. So, Nikhil, is this a good use case for you?
So yeah,
I didn't get your question. Can you repeat?
Would you use ChatGPT for your reports in the future?
Um, I mean, I don't, now that he said it's secure, I kind of, maybe I might use it. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay. Question from Deepika: is medication possible and content of medicines, is it accurate?
is uh, is medication possible and content of medicines? Is medication possible and content of medicines? Is it accurate? Um, I From what I understand is medication possible? I mean, ChatGPT, for example, it can recommend you medications, but again, you should go to your doctor to get a final answer, right? So, for example, I can type it on the chat. What if my hemoglobin levels were low? Right? So again, I'll repeat this again. You want get your final decision from the doctor, right, on what to do, what not to do. But let's say, for example, you want an urgent answer, then you can uh, just use ChatGPT, right? Um,
But Kavita has a point. She says that you can't buy medicines without prescription. It is always better to go to a doctor. And I agree with you, Kavita. It's always better to go to a doctor. It is only to understand your own report better that you can use ChatGPT. You can also add it to the medicines suggested by the doctor or prescribed by the doctor to check, just to have like a second opinion or a third opinion. However, I would still recommend that you go to a doctor till so that you get the right information. Nothing can replace the experience and the learning of a doctor as far as your health is concerned. But yes, this does help you to understand your reports better. It also helps you to understand management better, because many a time doctors are so busy that they may not have the time to sit with you and explain to you on what to do, what to eat, what to exercise, and how to take care of your health based on the condition that you have. So, Naman, any thoughts on that?
yeah, obviously you can't buy medicine without prescription. So, and ChatGPT cannot give you the prescription. So you definitely need to go to the doctor. And yeah, I mean, this ChatGPT is something, it's just a guide, right? So it's not,
Yeah.
you don't have to follow it.
Correct. It's an AI assistant. Again, it's an assistant and it is only as good as the way you use it.
As you can see on ChatGPT, also get this disclaimer at the bottom, right? So this is educational. It's not a substitute for personalized medical advice. Always discuss a specific situation and lab results with a qualified healthcare professional,
Yeah.
right? So ChatGPT itself is already giving this disclaimer. So yeah, don't use it as the only way to get information.
Correct. So, but Naman, we had discussed, and you had also mentioned that ChatGPT is a great place to get information about fitness plans and about, nutritional advice. How can we do that?
Yeah, so I think the next part of it is how we can use ChatGPT. For example, let me open a new tab here, right? So, let's say you want to lose weight or you want to build muscle, for example, right? So you can use it as a way to give you a meal plan, so I can just go here and say, I want to lose weight. Can you give me a weekly meal plan, right? I'm vegetarian, for example. Um, so you can start off with a very generic prompt and then uh and then if you want to change something, you can prompt it again. But uh as you can see, I mean, if you want more details, let's say you want to give me uh the specific, I want to eat 3 times a day, right? So it can give you a weight loss plan within these restrictions that you have, right? So for example, I can do that, and it can it'll think about it, and it's going to give you a meal plan, right? So uh yeah. So yeah, it'll think about it, uh you know, and it takes a while, but it'll give you an answer eventually. Um so yeah, it's gonna
So, shouldn't our prompt be more specific in saying that I don't want to lose muscle and I only want to lose X number of kilograms, or and then a period of time during which I want to lose weight?
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. So I mean, in this case, for example, let's say a user might not care about if they lose muscle or not. So in that case, he doesn't have to specify that. But if you want to lose muscle, then you can put that in the instruction as well, right? So uh yeah.
No, I don't want to lose muscle. In fact, we're quite
Okay. Okay, that I mean, you can put that in the prompt. I would like to from what I know, I mean, you cannot lose muscle and lose you cannot you will lose some muscle while you're losing weight. That's my personal knowledge. But ChatGPT might have some other answer for it. But you can also put, I want to avoid losing muscle during my weight loss. You can just put that, and it's going to think about it. Might change the meal plan based on that requirement also. So it might add more protein, or uh yeah, it might add more protein, or it might suggest something else, right? Because obviously the more detailed it is, the better it is for the AI to come up with the answer, right? So yeah, as you can see, it's giving you the meal plan here, as you can see, right? Okay. And it's very detailed also. It gives you how much protein each food has and stuff like that. So yeah, so this is the meal plan.
and it also gives you a workout plan at the bottom.
Yeah, it gives you a workout plan if you want to use it, right? If you want it to be more specific, you can just tell it to be more specific, like
Right.
how many minutes of each exercise you want. So you can just tell it in the prompt, right? So obviously we can spend a lot more time on this, but as we want to move on to other sections, but if anyone has any other questions on the meal plan, or something, you can put that on the chat.
So, have you used ChatGPT to create your own meal plans or your fitness plans? Yes or no?
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So, some people have used it and most people have not.
Okay.
Would you use it? Would you use it looking at what the results we've got? Would you use it for your meal plan or your workout plans?
me or
Yes, you.
yeah, I've not used it because uh I'm happy with my weight for now. So maybe if I gain some weight, maybe I might use ChatGPT. But I've not used it as of yet for the meal plan. Um, okay, cool. So I think let's does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah.
Read your mind. I think it might be able to read your mind after you've chatted with it a lot of times because you give it a lot of information while you're chatting with it, right? So maybe it might be able to predict it, but I don't think it can predict what's in your mind right now, but it
Can
can.
it read your mind, Naman?
No, I don't think it can. Well, it depends on what it means by read your mind. If it means what I'm thinking right now exactly, I don't think so. But obviously, it knows some information about me. Like, if you say that in the chat, let's say my weight or what my profession is or what my name is, it saves that information in the background. So in that sense, it can read who
Yeah.
you are, but not in the sense that you know, uh, what it can read my mind now. So,
Right. Okay.
okay. So, I think, yeah.
So we can move on to the next section.
Yeah. So the next section is education for school kids. I think
Yeah.
it's another useful use case for ChatGPT, right? So, uh, yeah, is, has anyone used this for teaching their kids or checking their kids' homework or whatever? You can put that in the chat also. But I can quickly show you an example of how we can use ChatGPT.
So is it right for children to use ChatGPT for schoolwork?
It depends on see, ChatGPT wasn't there when I was, obviously, it wasn't, I was, when I was in school. And it also depends on the school policy. Are you using it to learn or are you using it to get the answer? Right? I think ChatGPT is a useful tool to learn, to understand, like for example, you give it a math question and you don't understand how to solve it. So the ChatGPT can give you the steps, can give you the reasoning behind how to solve it, right? So if you use ChatGPT just to get the answer, you know, without understanding how to solve the problem, then in my opinion, I feel that it defeats the whole purpose, right? Because you go to school to learn, not only to get the answer, right?
So would it be a good tool for parents?
Yeah, it could be a good tool for parents. It could be a good tool for the students themselves to learn, right?
Yeah.
How can you use it more effectively and productively than a search engine, which also answers everything? Yeah. So, for example, search engine until recently, for example, uh, in the education space, you can't just upload a question to Google and then get the answer directly, right? You have to search through each of the links and then try to find out what the answer can be, right? So,
Yeah.
for example, I have a question. This is a grade 9 chemistry question. Maybe a parent has or the student has. So I'm going to upload this question, and I can just say, what's the answer for this question, right? So can everyone see? Is that clear what the question is? What I've uploaded. Yeah.
Yes.
So as you can see, I just uploaded a picture or a screenshot of the question, right? So it's not even text. So which compound is formed when iron rusts, right? So it gives you the answer right there, right? So, but let's say you can't just put a screenshot into Google and ask Google to give you the answer, right? So yeah, but now Google has Gemini, right? So you can use Gemini to get answers to this. Yeah.
So in fact, I have another answer for you, Kavita. So Kavita, for example, I was going on a trek and I wanted to know which is the correct shoe for me and what is the correct shoe size for me. So if I was to go to Google and say, can you give me the correct, which is the best shoe for trekking? It will give you millions of answers. However, if you were to go to ChatGPT and then you write a prompt which is detailed and you tell them that, okay, I'm so many years old, I weigh so much, and my foot shape and size is this, based on, and I'm going trekking to this place, which would be the best shoe for me? Then it'll come down, it'll go through the hole, it'll crawl through it and give you 3 top answers. So that is more effective than doing that in Google, because if you were to do that whole prompt in Google, it will not be able to give you the answer.
Yeah, so coming back to this use case, I think is obviously you can type this question into ChatGPT, right? But it can even and yeah, you can just screenshot the question that you have or take a picture and upload it to ChatGPT. It'll give you the answer. But yes, again, there's always a disclaimer. It's not always correct, right? So
this is wrong.
which one?
This one, Fe2, if iron 3 is Fe3.
No, I think this one is I think it's correct. I think this one, iron oxide, yeah. It's a rust. Yeah, I think this is correct. Yeah, so the point is that you can just upload a picture and it's going to give you the answer, right? So it can understand the text in that picture and then it's going to go it's going to use its knowledge and answer the question, right? So Shravanti has a question. Prompts are the key with AI. Is there a trick to get better prompts? I mean, the trick is just to be more detailed, right? So, in this case, in this education example, it's just a picture and we just want the answer. So in this case, the prompt doesn't have to be that detailed. It's just, what's the answer, right, of this multiple choice question. But if you're asking this as a general question, I think, yes, the more detailed you are, the better, right? So for example, if you go back to the itinerary example, the more detailed you are, let's say, for example, you're a vegetarian, you only eat for example, at 7 p.m. You want only Indian food, right? Let's say you want to avoid, beach sports, for example, right? So you can just type that into the prompt and it's going to give you the answer, right? So yeah, so as we said, we want to make this interactive. So does everyone, I can send this picture on the chat. So everyone can upload this picture onto their, their chat window, right? So let me see if I can upload a picture here. 1 second. So this is yeah, okay.
Can you go to an empty ChatGPT tab, please? That they know from where to upload it. Just an empty ChatGPT tab, the one next to the answer. Yeah. So if everybody can see, there's below the ask anything, there's a plus sign. So you can click plus to upload.
Or you can just drag and drop it. You don't have to.
Oh yeah, you can just drag and drop, but you can't drag and, yeah, you can download the image and drag and drop.
Yeah, so you don't have to use that question. Like, you can use any question that you have from your children's textbook or whatever. You can upload that picture or you can use the picture I've given you, right? So you can use that. Right, guys? So, and that's a grade 9 question, grade 9 chemistry question, IGCSE, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's one use case, right? So you can use that. And yeah, so I think we'll wait for a few more seconds so people can try that out. Just type it in the chat, guys, whoever is still trying it out, so we know.
So I just bring your attention, Naman, to Kirti Sharma's comment. She says, I'm an educator myself, and I tend to use AI to understand how to explain or solve some calculation questions. But there are some cases it gave a wrong answer, which I believe this is where pre-knowledge is important. So again, to your point, Naman, where you said that, it can help to explain, but it cannot help to just give you the answer, and it cannot help in you're replacing a teacher or replacing education as such?
Yeah, I mean, most cases it gives you a right answer. So I can tell you that definitely. It gives you the right explanation, and every year it's getting better and better. So the error rate is going down every year, right? So, for example, if you guys can see on the screen, there are different models that you can select, right? So if you have a very difficult question, you can use the O3 model, right? If you have a simple question, then you can use something called the O4 mini, right? So the more powerful the ChatGPT model, for example, 4.1 and the O3 are I think, according to me, even 4.0 are the most powerful ones. So you should use that for those questions. But if you have something simple, I mean, in my opinion, I don't even think you need to use the mini ones, because mini ones they have a higher error rate, right? So just use the most powerful one, which is O3 or 4.1. Yeah. But it does give you I think the most important thing is the explanation that you can see from the AI. If you can understand the explanation, I think that can solve a lot of questions that students have, right? So yeah, just to repeat, just use O3 or you can use 4.1 for getting answers to the question.
Right.
Okay, guys. So
any questions? That'll be very nice. If there are any questions, if anybody would like to share their experience with using ChatGPT, you can unmute, you can enable your video, and then we can. So I think we have 15 minutes left. Naman, we'll just go through some Q&A and see what people have to talk about, and if there's and they share their experiences.
Sure. Yeah, actually, okay, cool. We can do that. But I wanted to show one more thing. Maybe
Sure.
can we do
Go ahead.
Yeah. And then we can do that. I'll just type this O3, the O3 most powerful for learning. So O3, as I put that on the chat, the O3 is the best, according to me, for learning, right? If you have any question, any school question, right? For students, right? Because that's the most powerful. And it also shows that on the optional, so uses advanced reasoning, right? So it's very powerful. O3 is I don't think it's paid. I think you can log in and use it. Because ChatGPT keeps changing their requirements and others. They keep adding features and they keep removing features. So every week or two, there's something new always in ChatGPT. Yeah. So efficient. So I think we'll do one last thing I wanted to show, and then we can move on to the Q&A. Is that okay, Poonamji?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So one last thing I wanted to show is the other use case is basically generating images and posters. I just want to show this very quickly because I think that might be the most interesting for our audience, right? And everyone can do this right now. So, everyone can just follow me. So you can just say, my friend is having or let's say I'm having a birthday soon, or let's just say my cousins are coming to Jakarta. Can you make a welcome to Jakarta poster? And then in the background, can you have and guys, just the spelling and all, ChatGPT can understand that. So you don't have to be perfect with your spelling. Can you have the Garuda statue in the background? I want to, yeah. So I can just, type this in the chat and it's going to generate a poster, right? And guys, for this one, the poster, I think for the poster, 4.0 is the best. You can use 4.0. I think it produces the best pictures. So yeah, it can create that picture, as you can see. It takes a while to create it, but it can create it. And you see it's a very generic prompt. So the only requirement I put is a Garuda statue in the background, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. So it can generate anything, So, and if you don't like something in the picture, you can just change it, right? So you can see here. So while it's generating the picture, I can just answer Sunita's question. Are there any more efficient AIs like DeepSeek can you recommend? See, efficient, you mean in terms of price or in terms of speed or in terms of price? I mean, there's a lot of free AIs, right? So you can use ChatGPT for free. You can use Elon Musk's Grok for free, right? You can use many models for free, but obviously they'll have their limits, right? So if you want to increase the limit, then you can just do the paid one, right? So I can list a few examples in the chat box, right? Some examples of Gen AIs, right?
I think is there like a engine which is not really paid, but just for a use, we can keep it logged in, so it's building our information, so it gets more intelligent, asking our questions.
Yeah, I
So-
mean,
Yeah.
so for example, right? This chat is already open, right? This chat box, right? So it saves all the information that you have chatted with it in this chat, right? So you don't have to repeat things again and again, right? If I understand your question correctly, that you wanted to basically use your previous conversations in your new conversations. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it just starts making a profile of me, and
Yeah. So,
yeah.
yeah, as we mentioned earlier before, ChatGPT can do that. So it saves information. You can also ask it to save this information, right? So, for example, your name, right? When you first make a ChatGPT, it doesn't know the name of you or it doesn't know the name of your parents or whatever, right? So you can just put it in the chat, name of my father is whatever, right? James, right? For example, right? So it will you can ask you to save it. Can you remember that for me? Right? So you can just say it should be able to save it, but let's see what it does. So yeah, you can see there's a notification here. It's remembered. It has remembered now. So next time when you ask ChatGPT, you can just say it won't ask you what's your father's name again. It just remembers that.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me know if that's clear. You can also see this. Can everyone see the blue pop-up? So it shows that it has saved this information for future chats. So whenever you open ChatGPT again, it's going to remember that your father's name is James, for example, right? Or if you're a vegetarian, right? You can just you can just tell ChatGPT to remember it. Okay. And guys, yes, this image is finished. And I hope you also tried this on your own ChatGPT chat box, right? And I think it's I think it's a pretty decent picture. What do you guys think? You can put on the chat. What do you think? Is this picture, is not very well designed or is it good? You can put that on the chat. But according to me, I think it's a very, very good picture. And it's a yeah, it follows your prompt also, right? You say you want a Garuda statue, so it puts the Garuda statue in the background as well, right? And yeah, so yeah, it's a bit loud. Yes, I agree. You can, for example, you can change it as well, right? So I can say I don't like the red background. Can you just put a sky background, right? For example, you can just tell it, right? Because you don't like the it's maybe yeah too loud, yeah. Because as Rita asked, right? So as I wrote here as well, it's a very, very brief prompt. So it doesn't know, what color you want in the background or what font you want. So if you don't specify it, it's gonna think for itself and make it, right? But right now, I've told it,
Oh, very nice, Kavita. Good one.
yeah, so you can just Yeah, so that's okay. Is that what you got when you put in the prompt, Kavita? Or did you put some other prompt for that? Okay, so you use this exact same prompt, the Garuda in the background, and yeah, because so every time you ask, it's going to give you a different answer, right? It's not going to give the exact same answer because there's always randomness in the generation, right? So I'm just going to put in the chat what good AIs are there that you can use. So I've put some examples in the chat, right, guys? These are all good you know, Gen AI tools you can use. So yeah, it has changed the background, right, guys? As you can see, welcome to Jakarta, right? So it still has a Garuda in the background. It has changed one thing. It has changed the position of welcome to Jakarta, but that's fine because we didn't ask it to keep welcome to Jakarta in the same place. But as you can see, I think, I don't know, this is also pretty good. This is a very good picture, I think. It's also very good. Yeah. So
I really liked Kavita's generated image.
yeah. It's also
Okay.
Thank you.
So going forward, Naman, I'd like to remind you that we have only 8 minutes left, and maybe we can just do a Q&A now, just open
Sure.
it up to everybody. And so we can stop sharing and we can ask people what they...
Sure. Yeah. So if anyone has any question or they want to cover some other topic, we can quickly do that also. But if you have any other questions, you can put that on the chat. I've also put some other examples of
Yeah.
GPT, right? So
I'm going to have Naman there in the background for spotlight for everybody. So he is going to be available to answer your questions. So if you have any questions, please enable your video and enable your audio, and you can ask questions directly or you can add them on the chat. How safe or harmful is it?
yeah, so I'm not sure what it means, but if you're asking
ChatGPT.
how safe ChatGPT it is, I mean, it has a lot of guardrails for it, right? So it's not going to give you, if you're asking for something ridiculous, right? It's not going to generate that, right? So, I mean, I would say it's pretty safe for the use cases that we want to use it for, right? As any tool, you know, any tool can be used for the wrong purposes, right? So, terrorists or any bad actors can use ChatGPT and they can use it for, I don't know, for example, they want to know information about something, they might use it and then use it to infiltrate territories and stuff. So any technology is a double-edged sword, right? So, for example, a knife, right? I mean, a knife is used to cut vegetables, right? But people use it for other purposes, People use it to threaten other people. So,
Yeah, you're very right. You're very right, Naman. So it's like any tool, it's how you use it, whether it's safe or harmful. So any other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I recently saw Narendra Modi's video footage of saying the flaws of ChatGPT and other AIs. I'm not sure if you have seen it. Like he gave an example of asking ChatGPT to generate image of a person drawing or writing with the left hand. Yeah, and because of people, ChatGPT gets its information from all inputs, and because majority of people are right-handed, they couldn't show a left-handed, and it said that these are flawed and they are biased in their replies and this. So how true is that, and how can we know which is a non-biased answer or not?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the ChatGPT learns from the internet, from the information from the internet, right? So whatever's there from the internet, it just learns from that. So if there is something that's not correct on the internet, it's going to learn that also. But every year, all these companies, they're trying to filter out the so-called fake news or, the whatever that's not good for society, right? So, for example, Elon Musk just posted on Twitter that there's a lot of garbage on the internet, right? And the AI is also learning about that garbage, right? So they're trying to they're trying to train the AI without using all that, all the, yeah, I don't know exactly what they're excluding or how they're training it, but they're trying to avoid all of that, that garbage from the internet. But you're right about the left hand. I think it can still draw it now because I think they're trying to improve it. But I think if I can quickly show my screen, maybe it should be able to draw it now. But you're right that majority of pictures on the internet are of right-handers writing something, right? So it was initially very difficult for the AI to understand what it means to generate a picture of a person using his left hand, right? So, but I think eventually, I think with the newer model, I think it can do that. It sort of mirrors the image, so the left hand looks like a right hand, right? So, sorry, the right hand looks like a left hand. But yeah, I think it should be able to generate now with the latest with the O3 or with the 4.1. I think it should be able to generate a left hand picture.
I think that's a homework for all of us to try and do.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank all of you for being on this session. Aarti, good catch and a good shout out. And Naman, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us and sharing how we can use ChatGPT in a very interesting manner to answer a lot of questions and how to draft prompts such that we get the right answer that we want. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure.
And if you have any questions or if you'd like to tell us what more topics you'd like to see in the AI space, let us know. And Naman is here in Jakarta and he's happy to help.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So we're open to having another session, more than one session, in the coming weeks and months. So we'll keep you posted.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any other questions, we can have it for a few more minutes. Otherwise, I think there's are there any more questions?
So this generating pictures was very interesting in ChatGPT. Is there anything else that you could tell us that we could get out of ChatGPT other than just asking questions? Like generating of pictures was good, was interesting. Anything else that